So I've actually been dreading making this video and writing this week's newsletter because I've had the worst case of writer's block. I had no idea what I was going to talk about this week. And as I was sat looking at this blank screen in this cafe yesterday, or it was 2 days ago now, I was watching a video with like one of my boys. I was supporting some of his content. I was watching his content, and I was getting some ideas, and I was looking for inspiration. I was like, this guy's a creator. Maybe I can get some ideas from him. And the ideas just weren't coming. I was like, what on earth am I going to write about this week? Usually by this point, I had written a first draft. I had nothing. And that's when somebody came in. I saw this guy walk into my peripheral vision, and immediately I kind of noticed him. I was like, oh, because he sat down next to me. Usually, like this place had quite tight spacing, so I kind of noticed him. I was like, oh, this guy. I felt like this guy's a bit like me. Like I didn't know him. He didn't say anything, but I was like, oh, there's something familiar about this guy. Anyway, I kept working, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get this tap on the shoulder, and it's him, and he's looking at me, right? And I look at him, I'm like, he's probably about my age. I'm like, I'm not gay, but I'm like, he's a pretty good looking dude, and he's got like long-ish hair. It looks like feathered, like an 80s haircut, right? And to be fair, my hair compared to the last time I was sat in this position is very curly today. I put some argan oil in it, and it's just turned into a curl fest. So yeah, definitely whatever. The hair topic's quite funny. Anyway, he looks at me dead in the eyes, and he goes, he's grabbing the bench underneath him, and he's going, bro, can you feel that? The earth, the floor is shaking. Like, yeah, the earth is shaking. Can you feel it? And I was like, oh, really? What? And I was like, oh, I'd been in this cafe before. This cafe played music so loud that it vibrated through the wooden bench, and it made you feel like there was an earthquake. I thought there was an earthquake myself last time. And so I was like, oh, bro, don't worry. It's just the music. It just feels like there's an earthquake happening. And we both kind of laughed about it. Anyway, I noticed he had this Italian accent. And eventually he says, oh, anyway, my name's... I'm going to leave his name out. Oh, why not? He was like, my name's Ricardo. Ricardo. And I was like, oh, good to meet you. I'm Dan. Anyway, we got chatting, and I started to realize, the more I spoke with him, the more I realized I was like, oh, actually, there's a reason why this guy seems so familiar. And I'm about to explain why, and it's not what you think. So we get chatting, and he tells me, he's like, oh, I'm like, what are you working on? And he goes, I actually make films, but at the moment, I've just been in Australia for a few months. I'm just sort of like having a little look around Australia, a little look around Bali and Lombok now. And yeah, I decided to come to Lombok for a few days. So here I am. I've just been making films today. I was like, oh, show me. And he brings up his phone, his Instagram, and I go on his Instagram, and I'm like, oh, you're building a personal brand. And he was like, yeah. I was investigating some of his content. I was like, most of these posts are going viral. Like, he's doing a very good job at building his brand. Virality is not always the goal, but he's clearly finding his audience, right? And I say, well, so is this what you do full time? He was like, no, I actually have a film production agency, but this year I just have one goal, really, one main goal. I'm automating the business, and I want to focus on this. I want to focus on filmmaking. I want to focus on building my brand. I want to focus on pursuing what I enjoy, the fulfillment. And that was when all of a sudden I realized, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to write about this week. I know exactly what I'm going to make this video on. I'm going to make this video on something I've been thinking about for weeks. Something I've been thinking about for weeks. All these previous videos I've been doing, you know, the don't build a brand, build a world. The you don't need a niche, you need a spine. And most importantly, like 3 weeks ago, I made that video, why I'm writing a screenplay for 1 hour a day, even though it doesn't pay me. Right? I'm like, what is all this been building up to? You know, my Substack is growing very, very fast. A lot of the ideas I'm sharing on there are around this idea that I'm about to share with you, the reason why I'm making this video. And that is, I've noticed a shift. There is a massive, massive, massive shift happening right now in the world. A shift away from business and profit and so quote unquote the machine towards art, creative fulfillment, creative satisfaction, passion. This is like, people are becoming artists at an accelerated rate. Why? Because Naval said this like 5 years ago. He said, automation eventually is going to, and AI is eventually going to get rid of all of the jobs. So the only jobs we're going to have left are going to be creative ones. Now, if you're a business owner and you got into business because you wanted freedom, and now you're able to automate a lot of your work, you've got more time than ever. You've got more time than ever. Your basic needs are met. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got food. You've got you've got food. You've got shelter. You've got all the things you need. Basically, all your needs are met. What's next? Well, you want to do what excites you. You want to do what fulfills you. You want to do what feels natural. So you follow that feeling, you follow your energy, and it takes you naturally to art, artistic expression. That is where we end up. Everyone is becoming an artist because all our needs are met. AI is coming, and especially the creative people, the most creative people, a lot of them, the last 5 years, have been entrepreneurs. But they don't necessarily want to do business. They just wanted to fund their life. They just wanted to fund their life. They just wanted to live a good life. But now, AI is covering a lot of is covering a lot of their workload. So what are they doing now? Where's that creativity go? Goes into art. Goes into art. So everyone is becoming an artist. And why now? And why, when I spoke to Ricardo, I asked him, I was about to start writing. I said, before I start writing this, why now? Why now are you pursuing art above all else? Why now? And he said to me, I put this dream of traveling and moving to Australia and going and seeing Bali, I put it in my pocket. And I've just taken the dream out of my pocket now. And I found filmmaking. And I felt I had to do this. I didn't choose it. It just kind of happened to me. I just followed. He said I had to follow how I feel. That feeling isn't just, oh, I wanted to do it. It was the collective consciousness waking up to the reality. People at scale are waking up to the fact that, what am I going to do with all this extra time, all this extra mental bandwidth? That's if your brain hasn't rotted from social media. All of this passion, all of this drive, all of those dreams I put on hold, what am I going to do with them? You're going to turn it into art. That's what we're going to do. And again, it's like Naval said. He said something on the Joe Rogan podcast years ago, which really hit me. He said, eventually, once the robots take over all the petty stuff and all the we automate everything, we're just going to be finding more and more ways to entertain each other. To entertain each other. I was like, that's what's happening. That is what's happening. And by the way, I don't want to make this all about Ricardo. I don't want to make this all about this kind of shift that's happening. I'm also want to talk about me here and how this has affected me. The screenplay. I decided, even though it doesn't pay me, I need to express myself. I need to do this now. As soon as January hit. Another thing was the way I've been producing my content. You might have noticed. I had someone reach out to me. I've had loads of people reach out to me lately because I've been on a bit of a mad one. But I had someone reach out to me earlier and said, hey, Mr. West, it's been a long time. I've noticed something in your content lately. I've noticed that it's coming straight from the heart and it's got a unique vibe about it. Just curious, what you're working on right now and how things have changed for you. And immediately I said to him, yeah, I've just been more aligned. I've been posting, creating because I want, for the sake of creation, not just for money like I did in the past. I was always doing things for an outcome in the past. But that isn't art. Art is something done for its own sake. Here is where we lead on to the next point, which is crucial. Art is the only thing that scales. So the irony of art is that when it's good, it's never done for the sake of an outcome. But when it's good, it always generates more revenue than anything else pretty much on the planet. Yeah, you could say, okay, we've got what about oil reserves and what about arms and all this stuff? I don't think about that because that is for the elites. That's for the pedophiles and the baby eaters and all of that. They care about that stuff. I'm talking about the human who needs to express themselves, the creator, the newly awakened artist, all these people shifting from business and commerce to art, fulfillment, creative satisfaction. Just a quick tangent, right? One thing I find wild is how the most successful, famous people on the planet are generally artists. History always remembers the artists. Michael Jackson was a music artist, most famous guy on the planet. You had, there's some controversial ones I don't even want to bring up here, but I so could. Any rock star, any band, any rappers are very, very famous these days, right? Kanye West. They're artists. They are artists. And they did this all before their needs were met. They decided to pursue art before they even had the means to. So the side note here is that even though now everyone's shifting towards artistic expression over profit and just how much money can we make, right? This is the crucial part. It was always art. Art was always the only thing that mattered. Because it doesn't matter if you have money or you don't. You can always write. You can always paint. You can always create music. You are an artist. You always were. You just got sidetracked away. Your creativity got hijacked by all of these bullshit goals that society rams down your neck like you're a fucking, you're cattle. Reprograms your mind to pursue things that they told you to pursue. Feed the propaganda machine. Feed the machine. When the whole time you were always a creator, you were always a creative being who was always capable of making whatever you wanted to make, falling in love with your creations. When I was a child, I used to spend hours in the garage just making things. I used to pause the TV and I used to draw pictures. I used to be like, I like that, I'd try and draw it. My teachers thought I was an amazing drawer. You can believe that. I'm not much of a drawer these days, but I could be if I put the energy into it. I put all of my creative energy into writing, and now that makes me a better speaker. So I'm speaking to you now. It feels probably like it's coming. I generally don't say too much because writing has helped me speak clearer. But anyway, like I said, that was a tangent. I want to get back to the point. The point that I've noticed this shift. Everyone's becoming an artist. Why? Because it just feels better and all our needs are met. And we're looking for new ways. Like and now the robots are here. What are we going to do with all this creativity, with all this freedom? We're going to create more. We're going to create more. But here is the problem, right? Here is the problem. Most people are creating content when they should be creating art. They're still, and this was me, just even a few months ago, for the last 5 years, I was so focused on creating content that I forgot, and making money, that I should have been creating art. Because like I said, art's the only thing that scales. You can paint one painting and it can sell for your whole life and you can take royalties from it. When I built an art project, a digital art project in the Web3 space, we made more money in 3 weeks than most businesses make in a year. It was art. We were selling art. That's what we were selling. Art scales. And this is why I'm bringing it all the way through, the through line here, to content and art, the difference. Content is, you can feel it. You can feel that it's content. You can feel you're being sold to. Art doesn't want to sell to you, so you want it more. It's almost like the psychology behind it, the whole energy behind it is different. So trying to stay on this line here, this sort of through line. Most people, and this point I'm just making now, there's a difference between content and art. Well, content is, and I want to credit someone I saw on Substack called Philippe maybe, who created this definition. So I'm by no means taking credit for this definition. I thought it was amazing. I actually messaged him. I was like, bro, I fucking loved what you said here. He said, content is what you shovel into the algorithm to keep the retention rate high. Right? To keep the retention rate high, to keep the eyeballs on you. And it basically dissolves. He said it dissolves as soon as somebody consumes it. Art is an offering. It changes people. It changes the person it encounters. It changes the person it encounters. So the world is trying to tell us to now be content creators. But you've got to resist all of that crap and you've got to actually become an artist. And this is how you stay ahead. This is the point. This is the point of this video. I'm trying to help you stay ahead. Stay ahead of the curve. Stay ahead of everyone. Everyone who's been a content creator the last 5 years, great. You got on the trend. Not everyone won. A lot of people quit. It was a bit of a battlefield, not going to lie. And there's a few survivors still. If you want, there's going to be another wave of content creators now because now they're pushing it. They want you to be content creators. And with AI, all these jobs are dissolving. People are turning to content creation. Stay ahead of them. Stay ahead of that next wave by being up front with the top runners, with the top dogs, with the people that are really going to win, who are the artists. They're creating because they love it. You have to love what you do. You have to love your creations. Everything you create needs to stink of love. So now we're getting on to how to embrace your inner artist, how to become an artist, right? In a world of content creators. Man, there's a lot of ground I could cover here, but I'm going to keep it tight for now, as tight as I can. Number one, you have to love everything that you create. So everything you create needs to stink of love. Think of grandma's cakes versus the cakes from the store, right? Grandma's taste better because she gives a shit. The eggs, the flour, the whole process, everything is made with love. And love is one of the highest frequencies. I think it's one down from enlightenment, right? In terms of the frequencies, if you believe in this stuff, which I do. Love is one of the highest frequencies. When you are eating grandma's cake, it is made with love. You are literally consuming a higher frequency. So it feels great. She made it because she loves you, but she also, because she loves you, she loves making it. Everything around, the whole frequency is love, love, love. And the Beatles knew this. The greatest selling band of all time, maybe that's changed now, but they'd sold more records than any other band in history, and they probably are the most famous band that ever lived. All You Need Is Love was one of their most popular songs. They knew this. And they were some of the biggest artists, most successful artists we've ever seen. Next, and this ties into the same thing, you need to become the number one consumer of your own work. You need to, you need to love what you're producing, but you need to become the number one consumer. You need to write articles you can't stop rereading. You need to create videos that you watch when you need a boost, when you need a reminder of what you need to do. You need to be writing sales pages that you are nodding along saying, this is great. You can't stop rereading them. You want to, every single piece of content you put out should be a piece of art. I'm trying to make this a piece of art. The less I try, actually, the better it is, coincidentally. So, be the number one consumer of your work. And then this ties into the same point. I have been listening to so much music lately. I realize that my brain is kind of thinking more like a music artist than a creator, than a writer. Although music artists are writers really, but I actually think music artists are more talented because they have to write the music and they have to write lyrics if that's what they do. And then they have to promote themselves online. Music artists are, you guys, well done. I play some instruments, but by some instruments I mean the guitar and then probably the triangle. But I have massive respect for what you guys do. So anyway, I think of every piece of content I create as a song on an album. And I don't know which one is going to go... I don't know which one's going to do all the heavy lifting. I don't know which one's going to blow up. I don't know which one's going to be a hit. But I have to love every single song I create so that no matter what happens, no matter what the outcome is, I'm happy. I'm satisfied. That's super, super important. Your own satisfaction, which goes into loving what you do, which goes into being the number one consumer of your work. Next is an idea that I shared a few weeks ago, which is you have to create things even if you're not getting paid for it, for creation's sake. That video, why, and that newsletter, why am I writing a screenplay for 1 hour a day even though it doesn't pay me? Because I had to express myself. I had to tell this story. I had to tell this story. I had to get this into writing because I woke up one night with the middle of the night, 4 a.m., with a whole screenplay in my head. I told my friends about it. I was like, why am I telling them about it and not writing it? I made notes on my... immediately when I woke up, I wrote everything down. It was basically all created. I just had to write it. Not bringing it into reality would have been a crime. A crime against God and a crime against myself. So I had to bring it to life. Who knows what will happen with it, but if it gets picked up by a studio or whatever, then I created it once and it scales infinitely and it reaches a lot more people. So that's the third point. And a fourth point is, if you are looking to enter, well, as we've established, we're moving away from being the identity of a content creator to an artist. The identity is everything. I spoke about this 2 weeks ago especially. I'm going to speak about it again. You don't need a niche as a creator, as an artist. You need a spine. Artists don't have a niche, they have a spine. They have a clear, consolidated identity, creative identity, which a clear set of ideas which they represent. And this is the difference between the creators that make it and the creators who thrive. The most profitable creators don't have a niche, they have a spine. You just know them. You know them, you kind of know what they do, and they have a unique creative signature, creative flavor and essence that you can't get anywhere else. So to develop that spine, I spoke about this in videos that video, you don't need a niche, you need a spine. You've got to get weird. You've got to follow your curiosities. You've got to follow your energy. You've got to follow what excites you. You've got to go down rabbit holes. You've got to read weird shit. You've got to get obsessed. This is how you differentiate yourself from all the other content creators out there, is you consume the things that you want. And then you bring those interests into a very clear identity. You bring those rabbit hole, those pursuits. Typically, you don't have to really force this. You just go down rabbit holes and that becomes your content, and you realize that you're following your curiosities the whole time. It's not aimless. You're going in the perfect direction. Your energy is the compass. I don't want to make this a how-to. At the end of the day, like, this isn't a how-to video. I'm just simply sharing what the difference between an artist, what the difference between a content creator and an artist is, and why, going back to the beginning, why everyone is doing it now. Why everyone is becoming an artist now. It's because now is the time. Now is the time to embrace it and realistically get ahead. You don't want to be, you want to start now. The earlier you start embracing your artistic journey, the better. I was scared to take this step because I was worried about the money. Then I put the money to one side and I realized that how I feel, and going back to that story in the cafe, me and Ricardo both had the same energy. That's why I felt like I knew him. We both were pursuing art because it made us feel more satisfied than the money could ever give us, than money could ever give any of us, and we both have businesses, or had businesses, but we're both pursuing art. And this is the same conversation I have with every person who's reached this point. The money doesn't do it. Creative satisfaction is what you're looking for. Loving what you do. And realizing that if you are scared of what am I giving up if I pursue art over commerce, or how I feel and my curiosities over what I'm being told to do, just remember one simple thing. Money is a byproduct of expression. So the more you express yourself, the more money you will make. So don't worry about the money. Worry about what excites you. Worry about pursuing the thing that matters to you, that makes you feel alive, that makes you feel like a kid again. Follow that energy. Ricardo did it. I'm doing it. So many of my friends are now doing it. Everyone is going to be doing this. It's just whether or not you want to take the leap now or not. I helped Matt make this jump. Now he's traveling Bali, living by himself. living in with an independent income in Bali, doing his own thing. I helped Mark do this. He was stuck in a business he hated. We sold it. Well, I say we. He sold it. I helped him through the process, and now he's full-time on music. Shout out Mark. He's awesome artist. Connor has transitioned away from being a business owner and having this entrepreneurial kind of pressure to creating lifestyle vlogs and selling products off the back of his name. You know, I've helped a lot of people make this transition. And that's why I'm passionate about it. I'm like, it's actually quite straightforward if you know what to do, if you know how to transition from being a content creator or an aspiring creator, or even a business owner who feels like, I don't know what to do with all this extra time, but I know there's something I should be doing. I have ways to help you channel that creativity into a lane that doesn't just give you that satisfaction, which is what we want, but can also be monetized. You don't have to be a starving artist. You don't have to go into this game as a starving artist. You just step into the game the right way, do the right things, and you can live in pure bliss. You are literally waking up every day and you're just creating what you want to create, talking about the things you want to talk about with people that resonate with your message, building an audience of people who actually care, and making a living out of it. I can't think of anything better, personally, to get paid to be an artist. Because being an artist isn't about the money. It's about enjoyment. But if you can get paid for what you enjoy, the money is always a byproduct of the expression. It's always a byproduct of the enthusiasm. Go where the enthusiasm is. Go where the energy is. That is going to give you far greater returns, not just financially, but energetically, spiritually, emotionally, than the money ever could. Than just pursuing business. Who wants to be a robot? The robots are replacing the business. The final frontier is creativity. That is the one thing that is separating the winners from the losers right now, is who is exploring their creative curiosities, who is pursuing art, not money. They always end up winning. They always end up making more money. They always end up getting more famous. They always end up mattering more. History remembers them. They always end up they're more attractive to the opposite sex. And they have more fun. Their lives are more rich. That's why they get rich. Money is a byproduct of expression. People are waking up. They're realizing, I'd rather express myself fully the way I want than do all this stuff that AI can do. Because it's boring. That's why the shift is happening now. That's why I had that conversation with Ricardo. And that's why I made that this topic of conversation today. The reason I couldn't write is because this realization was so heavy, I didn't feel like I could lift it. I didn't feel like I had the creative juice to do it justice. But here we are. Here we are now. We made it. From writer's block to hopefully informing you on what you need to do. What we all need to do. Do it now. Now is the time. Now is the time to follow your heart, follow how you feel, listen to the signal, and make it happen. We're doing it together. If you are interested in joining a group of people that are on this journey, I called my newsletter The Search, because we're searching for that creative fulfillment. We're searching for that, what I call a creative utopia. More on that to come. We're searching for that the whole time. And now it is here. It's coming. And if you want to join 800 other searchers, my Substack, which is my newsletter, is growing so damn fast right now. I'm not overwhelmed, I'll be like. I'm humbled and I'm so excited. the growth is mad. And we have a community, a live chat of people. It's completely free on there. So if you want to come in and jump into this conversation and be a part of this, what I'm deeming a movement towards creative utopia, where you don't have to do all the boring shit anymore. You can express yourself like this, and that is your job, or that is how you get paid. You get paid as a byproduct of expression. You get paid for being yourself. If you are, even if that just sounds like cool and you're just curious to be like, is this guy full of shit or not? You want to find out more, just click the link below and jump into, sign up to my Substack and get involved. That platform is blowing up right now, and my newsletter is going nuts. Like, there's so many people jumping in there, and I love the live community chat feature where we're chatting in there every single day. Other artists, other people pursuing this. So if you're interested in taking this a step further with me and actually getting, like, I'll be talking with you daily in there, and you're done spectating with these videos and you want to actually get involved with what we're doing together, hit the link below. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I freestyled it a little bit, free-winged it, but there we go. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.